What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co-host, Amanda, back as always. Amanda, a lot to talk about. A crazy week, and we've got like NBA-style trade deadline. So many trades this week.
So many big trades. It's nice to see some of these players that haven't been utilized well get traded to spots where I think they'll actually have a shot to get some good looks. So I'm excited for some of these trades.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got John Abraham back again. John, great to have you back on the show.
What's up, man? Triple A.
Triple A is back once again. And let's get into this week. A lot to talk about. Let's start with last night. Bucks and Chiefs. And I think we, kind of figured like Kansas City would win this one easily, but it was actually a hard-fought game, went to overtime. Amanda, did you have any thoughts that the Bucks were going to steal that one, or were you riding with Kansas City the whole way?
So Kansas City finds a way to win. I am used to them doing it. My heart was with the Bucks in this one. But again, I have issues with overtime rules. I think both offenses should be on the field one time in overtime. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because as someone who's been a Packers fan their whole lives, we have very offensive teams. The Packers have never been known for a good defense. So if your offense doesn't get to touch the ball, I don't think you have a fair shot when your team is very offensive heavy. And the Bucks are, better on offense than they are on defense. Their defense didn't make a stop in OT. Kansas City scored, end of story. But they had a hell of a game, honestly. The Bucks really covered some big injuries they had on the field. I mean, we're missing two of our best players on this team, and they still scrapped and stayed in it to the end. Do I think they should have gone for two and avoided overtime? Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think it was a great game. The Chiefs have their own unique brand this season, and they are consistent, stubborn, but not big and explosive like we're used to. They're just kind of doing what they have to do just to scrape by, and this was definitely one of those just scraping by kind of games.
John DeAndre Hopkins seems to be fitting in pretty well. He had a big game last night with 2 touchdowns.
I mean, he's a good player and he has a good quarterback. It's not much to be said. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything worse from him. I mean, the last couple of years, like he said, I've been not in hell, but he said it wasn't comfortable. But I think this game
Yeah.
shouldn't have came this game shouldn't even came to overtime. Or Worthy wouldn't have made a rookie mistake and caught the ball and trying. I think people are too comfortable, like even with the rookie for the Jets, like with the ball coming out,
No,
like,
it's out
like
poorly,
some
yeah.
stuff, like I don't know what it's like when the rookies just get too excited or something. Like that's the test. Worthy want to be considered a great receiver. Stop worrying about looking good and all this stuff, wearing all these chains and stuff. Catch the ball and get in the end zone. A veteran receiver would be sick for the rest of his career because you think about that one touchdown could be different between 99 when you're done. And that was a touchdown, and that I think that would have changed the whole mode of the game. We ended up having a better game than it really should have been because Tampa did fight well and they did play well. I think Baker Mayfield is playing well. I'm not a great or a big Baker Mayfield fan, but I think he's playing well, and I think that offense without Mike Evans and without their other receiver is playing way better than I would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John, I mean, Atlanta swept Tampa Bay, and now they've got a 3-game lead on top of that sweep. Do you think, 3-game losing streak for Tampa Bay? You got injuries to Godwin and Mike Evans. Is Tampa Bay about finished? I mean, 4-5. You got the Niners coming up. Things are not looking good in Tampa Bay.
Well, I think they still have a good team. I just think that the circumstances are going to, make them falter because, like, even playing but with the Chiefs, it's like it's hard to judge your team from them because the Chiefs are so good they can play bad and still win. What are they, 7-0, 8-0, whatever it is right now?
Yeah.
Like they're not playing. They're not playing great ball, but you see flashes of greatness, and you got to understand, like at the end of the year, they're really going. Mahomes is going to be dialed in then because they have a big cushion right now.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go Sunday night. Colts at Vikings. Amanda, I switched my pick last second, going with the Colts. I was riding with Flacco, and the Vikings were, 2-game losing streak and had just lost Christian Darrisaw, but they found a way, got it done, got a 21-13 win, and overcame. Sam Darnold didn't play that well, 3 turnovers,
No.
but they still got the win.
I was just gonna say 2 missed field goals, 3 turnovers. The
Yeah,
Colts should have won this game. That Vikings defense really stepped in this one. Harrison Smith, that fumble recovery, the off a botched handoff, that was beautiful. They had some really good breakups in the fourth quarter. That should have been completions, but I mean he had an epic game. So I do think that this one could have gone either way. Guys, we had 4 picks opposite each other. Alex won the first 2. He was riding high on his Thursday night win. And then I
I was
swooped in with
feeling it.
a couple scrappy, and I picked the Lions over the Packers, which sounds dumb, but I had a feeling about that game. So Alex didn't want us to be tied up. So instead, he extended my lead to 12. So
I'll catch her. Don't worry. I'll catch her still. There's plenty of time, John.
I think I think we I think they pretty much showed that they need Richardson. Richardson,
mhm.
the
Hmm.
run op- the run option was gone. They were 3 and 11 on third down. They only had 68-yard rushing. They would have won this game if they had Richardson in, I think. Because think about it, you take that away, and I think it's kind of like the elephant in the room now. Like I know they're going to meetings like, damn, we were 3 and 11. Like the option to run at the quarterback was gone. So this game could
Hmm.
have easily been if they would have been 6 of 11 and got some of them thirds down, and was able to stay on the field. They only had 68-yard rushing. I mean, that's not great for them. I mean, they usually 90 to 100 and 3 of 11 on third down. Even if you want to like teach this guy a lesson, if this happened next game, they're gonna have to throw him back in there.
Yeah, I agree. Big win for the Vikings. They didn't allow that 2-game losing streak to roll into a third. And so it's nice to, bite that in the ass and get back on the winning streak. And they're right in the hunt in the NFC North. They improved to 6-2. They play at Jacksonville. That's a winnable game. For the Colts, they're 4-5. They got the Bills up next. I agree. I think they're going to have to go back to Anthony Richardson because the playoffs are slipping away for Indy.
Right.
Um, so it's going to be interesting there. Let's go Rams at Seahawks. This is a game I picked Seattle. They're at home. A game they needed to win. They jump out to a 13-3 lead, but Geno Smith back-to-back bad interceptions in the red zone cost them.
He really had a bad game. He's been playing well for the last 2 years. I think it might be something happening at home. Somebody might have fucked his baby mom. No, I'm joking. But but you could tell he was like he just didn't.
It was off.
He was off this whole game. It was nothing. Sometimes you, as a quarterback, some teams come out ready to play in some, and one player, the main position doesn't. And just like even when he threw that one pick that was just the worst pick ever, he just kind of threw it like he's trying to throw it away or almost trying to throw it to the running back, and he just did like this.
Yeah.
The game was over right then. Like you supposed to be like shush and then walk back. He was just sitting like this. I was like, yeah, he's not in this game. His mind is somewhere else right now.
Yeah, no DK Metcalf was they need him back desperately, Amanda. And a huge game from rookie Cameron Kinchens with 2 interceptions, that 102-yard pick six. I mean, like John said, Geno threw the game away, really.
Yeah, this game was a mess. I mean, the first half of the game was only punts and interceptions. I mean, there were 2 touchdowns and a field goal, but what, 7 punts, 2 interceptions? Like, this game was disgusting, and I loved it. It was, I mean, blocked punts, interceptions, pick sixes, and then a turnover on downs in overtime. Like, it was a dumpster fire, and it was entertaining as hell. But that Rams defense really, really showed up in this game. And I absolutely agree. He had a great breakout game there. And I didn't expect that from the Rams defense. Maybe I've been underestimating them, but this was a fantastic game for them. And I feel like they've really been working well with Chris Shula. Like you're starting to see like what his game plan is on defense. And I mean it's his first year there, so they're still kind of putting the pieces together. But if they keep playing like this, I mean, shout out to him
Yeah.
because they looked good in this game.
Yeah, good name drop with Chris Shula, and he's got the rookies, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kitchens, all playing really well. John, the Rams, how are you feeling about this Rams team? They get back to 500, and they're at home against the Dolphins on Monday night in Week 10. A good opportunity to get above 500. Maybe they make the playoffs, go on a little bit of a run here.
I mean, they look good, but also it was. I don't want to say nail biter because I think that's too too much for the game. I felt like they had control of the game most of the time. The Dolphins seem to be playing better, and it is going to be a measuring stick to see where their team is going to go from now. Because I do think the Dolphins are getting more comfortable, having Tua back, and it seems like he's doing no look passes and doing things that seem like he's comfortable in the pocket. But it's definitely going to be a game that if they lose, I can see the season maybe going a little, down. Even though it's not an NFC game, it's still like a mentality game because it's the middle of the season, and if you don't know exactly where your team is right now, it's not a good feeling. Like there are a lot of teams right now, like Kansas City, we were just talking about. They're in the best position in the league right now. I mean, they lose a couple games and they still can just be like, okay, well now we're ready to play. So you can't just like having these up and down games is not going to work.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. We're starting to see a separation. Amanda, we've got 9 2-win teams. Like it's really starting to separate, and
Has there ever been this many awful NFL teams in a season before? I can't remember going this far into the year with 1-2-win teams. Like, and normally there's one or two. Like normally we expect to see like the Titans down there, but this year there are so many bad teams. Like the gap is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened last year because I was thinking the same thing. I said, this is some terrible football we watch. And like every week we turn on the TV, we watching different teams.
To win teams. Ooh.
Yeah, you can watch a team that's supposed to win, lose. You see a team that going to lose, win. It's like you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. We get different football teams every week. Like even like all the teams are like this so far, except for the Kansas.
This season is drunk, I swear. Like this NFL season, there's something going on. Alex, what game was it? Randomly, there was one game, and I was like, "See, I like this game. They're both garbage, but they're evenly matched garbage." Like,
yeah, I forget what game that was, but we're seeing that a lot, and I love it in the NFL and college the same way. I love chaos.
Saints Panthers.
Yeah.
I was saying the Saints Panthers. That's what I was thinking. I was like, Saints.
Yeah. Well, because I couldn't find it. They weren't playing it anywhere. And we have the way our TV is set up, you pick your network, so like CBS or whatever, and then you go through each big city and pick what city's broadcast you want to watch. I had to go to Shreveport's broadcast to get someone playing that game because nobody was playing it. They were playing the other games.
That's why.
And he was like, why? And I was like, because I love garbage. I mean.
Lions at Packers. Amanda, you picked the Lions. I picked the Packers. But Amanda, do you think Jordan Love didn't play his best football? What do you have? Just one interception, but he had some missed throws. Green Bay as a whole didn't play very good football in this game. Do you think this is a game that they kind of rushed Jordan Love back and should have sat him? Their bye is up next. They could have given him a full 2 weeks to rest that groin injury.
I get that he's a baller and I get that he wants to be on the field. Like I love that mentality versus people who decide they're too tired to play the next few snaps. In the case of Richardson, like I understand him wanting to be back and wanting to give him that shot, but it was pouring rain this whole game. They're outside. Why don't we use the mobile quarterback? I understand Jordan Love is the starter, but Malik Willis is he's good on the ground. He's better at running. Like we've seen how the game plan differs from quarterback to quarterback. And I've lauded our coaches for how good that they've adjusted that to their play styles. A ground game quarterback would have been ideal in this situation where the ball was wet. Everyone was slipping around. It was pouring rain, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Like this would have been a perfect game for Malik Willis. And I didn't like the call to bring Jordan Love back. He's clearly still hobbling a little bit. And that Detroit ground game is so good. Jair Alexander being out, I had a feeling. And Green Bay made a ton of mistakes.
A lot, yeah.
I mean, the ball would move so easy for Green Bay, and then they do some dumb shit. Like,
John, do you think they should have gone Malik Willis and rested Jordan Love with the bye coming up?
I think you want to get Jordan Love as much work as you can, simply because he's your starting quarterback. I mean, like I said, he's he's capable of being a good quarterback, and I think the more you let him rest, and like you thinking like basketball, like y'all know y'all gonna make the playoffs, like. You don't know you're gonna make the playoffs with the Packers right now. You got to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like this is your starting quarterback. We can ride with Malik, and then you feel good now. No, you want him to be like go through the losses and okay, let's get on this run because like the playoffs is not like I said basketball. Like I never watched basketball during the season. Playoffs,
Yeah.
that's when I started walking, but that's totally different than football.
Yep. Amanda, so I said this is where I was wrong this week. Right before the kickoff, I said, "Here comes a Jared Goff multiple turnover game." In the elements, the rain, the sloppiness, he's
Yeah.
got the two gloves on. We've seen that from Jared Goff before, but he continues. He's like 80% completion, no turnovers, a great game. How is Jared Goff still doing this, even in bad elements? Amanda?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is ridiculous. I mean,
Hmm. The
he's
O
he's
line, that
got
running game.
he's got some hands, he's got great protection, he's got all the time in the world. And when he needs to, I mean, David Montgomery had 73 yards, Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries for 65 yards. Like Dan Campbell has really put together a great offense there. I mean, the Packers outgained them by 150 yards in this game and still couldn't pull off a win because they kept making idiotic mistakes. I mean,
Yeah.
the Packers were getting held to that first possession of the game. The Packers should have had a touchdown there. The fact that they were held, like they marched across that field and then got held to a field goal, I think just kind of took all the wind out of their sails there.
That missed
And
throw. He had him too.
he did. And then, that second quarter pick six, like that just
That was huge.
the Packers couldn't. I just don't think they fixed their mindset after the mistakes in the first half of the game. And that Lions defense, Kirby Joseph. I
Yeah.
mean, big plays out of this guy. I mean, well, he had what a 27-yard run. Like he had wheels. I can't remember how long
Mhm.
his run was, but I don't know if I've seen him move that fast before. Like he was flying.
That pick
And
six, yeah.
he's now tied with Xavier McKinney for the most picks in the league. So they're both tied at 6 right now. So that's a cute little race that they had going into this game. But the Lions played a better game, and I had a feeling they would. This just seemed like the prime opportunity. The Packers like to drop one before the bye week anyway. They're
Mhm.
just focused on the week off, and if we were going to lose one, I'd rather lose this one and then beat them in later on when we play. But yeah, not a good game for the Packers. A lot of issues to address there.
Get the revenge in the playoffs. That's when you want to beat them. John, the Lions improved to 7-1, and they make a trade for Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns. You like that move?
I do. I think it was an easy like transition. I don't really think they need them though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think their defense is already stacked, and I think they have the personnel. Their cornerbacks are actually pretty good. Their linebackers
Oh
are good. They're missing. They're gonna miss a big defensive end, but I don't think he's the kind of guy that's gonna come in and give you 10, 15 sacks. He's a
yeah,
good body type guy, and Cleveland seems like they just like f their season now. We're just gonna get rid of everybody since we lost. We lost our quarterback, so we just want to get rid of everybody that could possibly make it help us win. So if you want somebody, just go to Cleveland and ask them like, hey, y'all got somebody y'all want? Like,
yeah.
like they just like.
There's a lot of teams that are selling right now. Like we said, all those 2-win teams are looking to move their players.
The
Amanda, Lions,
Packers,
go
well, I
ahead.
was just going to say the Packers let Preston Smith go because we had the Super
Yeah,
Smith brothers for a while. Preston Smith left, and it kind of sucks too because I don't know if this is going to matter because he's on he hasn't had a very productive year numbers wise, but he's a good kind of on team coach. He was the oldest player on the team till McManus came in. He was 31, oldest player on the Packers. So he's gone now. He went to the Steelers, I think, right?
yeah, yep.
Um, and he is undefeated against the Bears. He is 12-0 in games that he's played against the Bears. So I kind of wanted him for next week. He's our good luck
No, get him out of here.
charm. So I'm a little bummed there, but I think that'll be a good fit for him. And it's a great contract decision. I mean, he's coming up on a contract year anyway. We're not going to pay him when he's the oldest guy on the team besides the kicker. So it's better for him to find a new home now.
Right.
But
Yeah, he like you said, he's a better coach. He wasn't really being that productive on the field.
and just the gap between the age and the rest of the players, like
Yeah,
as much as I would love the Packers to make a postseason run this year, it is a rebuild year. And I would expect them to do more with the draft pick next year. They got a seventh from him than what he's going to accomplish for the rest of the season. So I'm okay with it.
John, next week, Lions at Texans on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a great game. I think Nico Collins is going to be back.
So since we're talking about the Texans, we might as well go to the Jets game. But I don't think
Yeah.
the Texans looks bad. I think the Texans actually need Diggs a lot more than they thought they did. And I'm saying just because of his experience and just because of the energy he brings. The game with the Jets, they had no energy. Like the whole team, it seemed like the quarterback was just not there the whole time. The team just seemed like they were just not consistent, even from the head coach all the way down. If you watch the game, and this is another thing because we're transitioning to the Jets and Houston game, whether y'all know it or not. So
Yeah.
this is one thing that I don't understand. As being a player that's been injured before, why don't we give Aaron leeway for being injured last year and him starting off slow? Because I'm saying with Kirk Cousins, every week they're saying, well, he's getting better. He's using it more. He's using more. We haven't given Aaron any leeway, and I think it's because how he handled the situation last year. You walking on it, Achilles. You're doing this, so everybody thought you was healed last year. So they think like the whole offseason you didn't have to rehab. You ain't had nothing going on. So we have not given this guy any credit for like being there for the first game after Achilles last.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of put it. He kind of messed it up himself. The Jets had 8 sacks. They allowed 187 yards on the ground. But think about it, the quarterback only had 135 yards passing. So
Yeah.
how can you win a game in Houston? And I'm saying that's why they missed Diggs. But I think because Tank ain't doing it. Like Tank had that year, and everybody thought Tank was going to be the next guy. They brought some more guys in, and it's like his game is just fell down. You know what I mean? Like only 135 yards passing, and I don't know because they had 8 sacks, maybe that took some of the yards away. But
Yeah.
that is ridiculous. And the Jets are a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team, but if you watch the game, they literally control the game. Like they're if the rookie doesn't fumble the ball, I don't think the game would have been close. I think it gave Houston more. It gave them a chance pretty much because I think if they scored there, because I'm watching the game, I'm like, even when I watched the Falcon game, it was like the game is over. Like the Jets are going to win, even though it came down to the end. I always felt like the Jets were going to win because their D line was playing like lights out, and like I said, the quarterback never got on the rhythm, like never really got in a true rhythm.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets D line was getting after him, like you said. The 8 sacks. Kenyon Green, their starting guard, goes out with a shoulder injury. That was a big deal. And getting Nico Collins back, I think, is a big deal. But I agree, not having Stephon Diggs for the rest of the season, that sucks as well. I think the Texans will be more competitive. I think this was a classic game of the Jets are the more desperate team, and the Texans are kind of looking past them, assuming it's going to be an easy win, which you can't do. What do you think, Amanda?
I was just gonna say, I mean, the Texans are 6-3, so they look good on paper, but I mean, you look at the teams they've beat and the points that they won by, like they beat the Patriots by 20 points. Fine, except for the Patriots aren't good. Colts by 3 points, and I don't think the Colts are very good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Jets had that game. I agree with John. Like it never felt like the Texans were gonna come back, which was annoying to me because I had picked them to win. Uh, and they beat the Bills, but that was like the worst game we've seen out of the Bills this season. So I wasn't impressed by that win. It didn't seem like the Bills were like there and prepared for that game. And then they lost to the Packers, who I've had questions about for a few weeks now. So I don't know who the Bills or who the Texans are. Like the teams that they've played that they've beat that should be good teams didn't show up for the games they beat them in. So I'm hoping for a good matchup, Detroit versus the Texans this week, Sunday Night Football. I think it'll be interesting if the Texans full up and play a good game. But I'm a little worried the Texans are falling apart.
No, I'm trusting in the Texans. Getting Nico Collins back will be huge. That'll be a big boost for them. And how are you going to beat the Jets when you got Garrett Wilson going Air Jordan on you multiple times?
So good.
Like he was killing them. John, what do you think of that catch by Garrett Wilson? That's like catch of the year.
No, it was a nice catch, but I think everybody played well for the Jets. I mean, I think their offense looked good. That's why I was trying to state the fact about Aaron kind of getting more comfortable. Their O line played great. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron didn't. He got moved around a little bit, but I think that he was able to not force balls in, but you can see the comfort in just throwing the ball. And I think Adams is finally comfortable. He's running great routes that night. It was just like they were in a groove. Like I said, if you watch the game, it was I never felt like they were going to lose that game. Like no matter what was going, I was still mad at that rookie though because I did have my
Yeah.
Jets hat on. I ain't with my Jets hat this week because I'm kind of like I'm off that. They did a good job. I'm not going to cheer for anybody this week, but I'm saying that I think Aaron is still. I think he's going to get better. Like I really think. I think this game. If you watch, like I said, if you watch the game and you look at the Jets team and you looked at the Houston team, you would have thought Houston was 3-6, and you would have thought the Jets were 6-3 because it was just the confidence they had. And I think that's finally coming in. And I think Garrett Wilson needed this game. Like he needed this game. Having all these fans and everybody finally saying, Garrett, oh, did y'all see Garrett Wilson? Sometimes we need that confidence because think about it, you bring Adams in, you get rid of Mike Williams. That when is it going to be my team? Like, think about it, because Garrett Wilson thought it was going to be his team. Beginning of the year, they weren't playing well. They didn't really play well together. They was forcing the ball to him. He had a great catch, but he had 2 touchdowns. I don't know, but he played well. And I think getting in the media and people don't understand getting in the media and having a game like that and having a catch like that the game is being compared to Odell Beckham now. So his game is really going to step up now.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I'm rooting for this Jets team. I want to see the turnaround. I want to see them go on a run. Huge game next week at the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, I've been joking and hating on the Cardinals all season long, Amanda, but the Cardinals took it to my Bears. I mean, this game wasn't even close. 29-9. And the thing about Arizona, we were all talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray. Really, they're a physical team running the ball. They got 3 running backs, James Conner, Trey Benson, DeMarcado, and that's what they did to my Bears. They ran it down their throats.
Yeah, they played a fantastic game. Like I can't say anything negative about Arizona in this game. They handled it. They weren't sloppy. They didn't make a lot of dumb mistakes. They didn't get cocky and do, stupid turnover and down stuff in the third and fourth quarters. So I do think we kind of knew that the Bears record, I mean, they were neck and neck with the rest of the NFC North, but I think everyone kind of knew they were the worst team. Like they can all be 5-win teams, but like one is not like the other. And I don't think the Bears are a bad team. I do think they are very young and still learning and still have a lot to like kind of build around Caleb Williams next year. But this game really highlighted a lot of Chicago's issues. And I mean, no one was surprised by this outcome, I don't think. I would love to chat with anyone who was shocked by it because I wasn't.
I was surprised in the fact that he got blown out by 20. And to me, everyone talks about Andy Reid and his record after a bye week. Matt Eberflus is the anti-Andy Reid, where we go into the bye week at 4-2, and he comes out and looks as bad as possible. And the Bears are a talented team.
It's not the bye week. It's not the bye week that's the issue with Flus. Eberflus is 0-18 when traveling on a Sunday. He has never won on the road on a Sunday.
John, the Bears are just the worst coach team in football. Fire Eberflus. I thought Matt Nagy was bad. Get Eberflus the hell out of here.
Yeah. Why? So they can bring in Nathaniel Hackett next year?
And that's the issue.
McCarthy? What do you want?
I have no faith in their ability to hire the right guy. They're going to go hire Cliff Kingsbury, and he's going to suck.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy is going to get let go of from Dallas, and he's going to be in Chicago. Just you wait.
There's real juggernauts in the league this year. Like even Kansas City being undefeated, it just there's no there's no teams walking like just holding their nuts like come on let's go except for Detroit. Detroit definitely is that team.
Detroit is
That's just but they're coming back down the road.
That's their attitude. If they were 1-8, they still be walking like.
Well, it's funny because Detroit doesn't know how to be winners. They've never won before, so they have so much attitude. Like Detroit doesn't know what to do with success.
I am happy. That's how the Saints was when they won the Super Bowl. If you think about it, when the Saints were not winning,
they swagged out, man.
They started just acting. We just like, man, y'all get y'all ass out, man.
Like that onside kick coming out of halftime, right? In that Super Bowl?
That's big balls. That's big cojones.
Big balls Dan Campbell over there.
Right.
The Cardinals, they improved to 5-4. They got the Jets coming up. They trade for Baron Browning as a nice addition to that D-line. So we'll see on the Cardinals. That's a big game against the Jets. My Bears fall to 4-4. They play at home against the Patriots. I got no faith. Let's go New England. Let's just end this thing. Let's get another high draft pick. Screw my Bears. Anyways.
We are at that point in the season, y'all.
Oh my God. I don't even want to watch them anymore.
Just wait till their next division win, and then Alex is going to be back on board.
But speaking about terrible coaching, John, how about Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, who should have blown out Jacksonville? But Nick Sirianni with, I got it in my notes here, 2 turnovers on downs and 3 failed 2-point conversions.
It's because who they're playing. Like, dude, you playing? They were practicing. That's what you don't understand. Let me tell you. Let me just give you the stat. Let me just give you the stat as an NFL player. Let me give you the stat as a high school player. Let me give you the stat as a JV player. Let me give you the stat as a pre-league. 238-yard rushing.
Yeah,
that's what the Eagles had. Hold on, now, I ain't done yet. Jags 3 for 10 on third down, 215 total yards. They whooped their ass. You can look at the score and say, "Oh, it was a close game." 215 total yards. They had 238 yards rushing. They had the ball 38 minutes. I'm playing with you, bitch. I'm playing.
Isn't that risky, though?
Like, come on now. He had the ball 38 minutes, bro. They rushed the ball 238 yards. They total offense is 215, bro. They were fucking with them. I'm sorry. Like, you can say that it was a bad game. Dude, if I'm playing the Jacksonville, hey, bro, let's go for 2 right now. Shit, let's hit. Y'all want to do onside? Y'all want to do an onside field goal? Let's try something new. Let's try something new. Let's do an onside field goal. They never heard no shit like that. I'm like,
it was a pickup game for them. They were just trying shit.
Dude, did you ever see a dude do a backwards? Like,
that was so fucking cool.
Man.
Never seen that.
I felt my whole butt rip. I felt my abs. I felt everything. When he did that shit, I was like, oh, I felt the groin.
Did you see the camera angle of it happening? But like the sideline, you could see the team react to it. They're like, yo, like
that was
fucking good.
Man, that was crazy. So it
was amazing. He is such a good addition to that team. Like, and I've been calling them a Pro Bowl team for a few weeks. They have so much fucking talent on offense. It is disgusting. I am angry about it.
Smith made a great catch too. They didn't talk about it much because old boy catch was way better. But Smith had a great catch too. There were a lot of one-hand catches this week.
There was a couple really good grabs.
I think they put it in the script this week for because everybody talking about this.
Last week was tight end week. This was one-handed catch week.
Yeah, this one-handed catch week. Come on now, that's crazy.
We got a new focus next week. What do we think the focus is going to be during practice this week, y'all?
What I love is last year all the talk was the disrespect for the running backs and why aren't they paying the running backs? What I love about this year is these running backs are going crazy, whether it's Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, even Joe Mixon in Houston, and the Niners are about to get Christian McCaffrey back. They're going to be a lot better. Right. Where's the don't pay the running back crowd at now? They're awfully silent.
Shut them up last year. Look at Detroit's success. The first year they've been successful in how many decades? They focused on the run game. I mean, they had that stunning 1-2 punch last year. Detroit makes it to the postseason for the first time in 3 decades, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, okay, maybe running backs are important." And I mean, shout out to the city of Detroit for at least doing that right, because I mean, no one is talking shit about running backs this year.
Not at all.
Yeah, they can't do pizza right, so at least they got the running backs.
Oh, yeah.
Low blow.
Okay, but if you say Chicago pizza is the best, we're gonna be in a fight. Because let me tell you, that East Coast pizza, New Haven pizza above all else.
I agree with you on that one. Deep dish is a little overrated.
It's just a fucking lasagna with a crust.
I can't even do pizza no more. Pizza have me in the bathroom all night.
It's like, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm too old for cheese. I'm gonna get you a cheese basket for Christmas.
Oh Lord, no.
I mean, I don't trust Nick Sirianni if he's gonna be pulling that shit. So we'll see if he's doing that in the playoffs,
bro. Jacksonville, come on, man.
Hey, Trevor could have beat him. I mean, Trevor's real pick.
It's Jacksonville. It's Jacksonville.
All right, I'll give it.
If you watched the game, did you think they were going to lose that game? No.
Man, I was rooting for it.
No, it wasn't. No. I'm not going to give you credit. They didn't.
Alex,
Go ahead.
Alex is still in love with the Jags, and he will not
Not
give up on
anymore,
them.
though.
I think
Not
they're your white
anymore.
Buffalo love. The Jags are
You,
the one that got away.
you
Like
got a
all
chance
Trevor
to
season.
win
Lawrence is
it,
so great. Trevor
and he
Lawrence
throws
is
a
so
pick to Nakobe Dean. You deserve to lose that game. So I got to give up on Jacksonville. They're 2-7. I got to face reality on that one.
Yes.
Eagles 4-game winning streak. They play at the Cowboys. Let's go Ravens Broncos. A lot of hype going into this game about Denver's defense versus the Baltimore offense.
LOL.
Started out good. It was 10-7. You know, Bo Nix had a receiving touchdown. And then in the second half, the Ravens just pull away 41-10. Lamar Jackson with a perfect passer rating. John, the Ravens, how do you stop them? You know what I mean?
I ain't talking about it already. Y'all can talk about this game. This game ain't even. This is the Eagles game. The Eagles and Jaguar game. This is what they're supposed to do. It's nothing
Yeah,
to talk about. They lost to Cleveland or whatever. Okay, whatever. They had a bad game. They back on track now. You know,
exactly.
everybody is doing this. Everybody who's the good team is losing to the team, taking a deep breath, and then they coming back and whooping the shit out of the next people. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like there's nothing that surprises me about this game. There's nothing when I clicked on it because I didn't watch the game. When I clicked on the scenes, I was like, oh man, whatever.
You're like Vegas.
I was like whatever. I mean, come on, man. Like that. It looked like a normal score. Amanda, how we were saying that teams are playing kind of da 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 da. This is what we were looking for Baltimore this whole year. So this
Yeah.
should be surprising. This is one of the things that is not what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. You got a running game. You got a quarterback. Got a great defense. There's nothing else to talk about. Every game should be 41, and every game should be like this. 41 points should be obvious.
Yeah,
I
if the
agree.
Ravens don't keep doing this, I mean, I know Denver showed up and definitely immediately sucked. Like the first passing play of the game is a fucking pick.
Yeah.
Like you know the game's not going to go well. Like Denver has this habit. They did it in the Super Bowl versus Seattle when they got their asses kicked. The first possession, if they fuck it up with a safety or a pick, they're just going to lose the game. Denver historically does not get out of their heads after a fuck up at the beginning of the game. And I have said this for years. Like that first possession means so much to Denver. Whatever happens there, that just sets the tone for the game. They don't bounce back. I mean, 4 turnover on downs. Like it was beautiful, man. It was the fourth quarter for Denver's offense was 2 3-and-outs and 2 turnovers on downs.
That was crazy.
I
The
I
fuck is
just gotta
that?
say when we saw this in the offseason, Derrick Henry joining up with Lamar Jackson that same backfield, on paper it was like that's a cheat code. How do you stop it? I am so happy to see Derrick Henry on pace for career highs this year. It's incredible. And you see people on Twitter and social media like saying Derrick Henry's washed. Like, watch more football. Like, dude is unstoppable. Ravens against the Bengals in Baltimore on Thursday night. Amanda, any chance this game is good? Since he's got to be desperate, but that's a tough game in Baltimore.
I don't think with the way Baltimore just manhandled Denver. I have
Division
not
rivalry,
seen,
though, you never know.
and I mean I know Cincinnati also put up 41 points.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
not knocking them. We'll talk about that game next, but I think the Ravens are just too good right now.
yeah.
I like the East Coast matchups. I like when they get scrappy with their neighbors and stuff, but Baltimore's too good right now. I would be absolutely shocked if the Bengals can pull this off.
It's
Like there's
another
a reason
Ohio
they only
team.
have 4 wins.
It's another Ohio team. I don't know. I don't know. They might get it. The orange might be. It might be the color.
Baltimore is just
orange.
scared of the color orange.
Might be the orange. I don't know. Lamar might have something going on with the orange. I don't know.
I just hate Ohio. Same, bro. Same.
Right.
Well, let's keep it with the Bengals, John. The Bengals put up 41 on the Raiders. The Raiders are not a very good team, but the Bengals were without T. Higgins, Orlando Brown, Zach Moss. But Joe Burrow throws for 5 touchdowns. Mike Gesicki's doing the gritty. Trey Hendrickson with 4 sacks and a forced fumble.
Yeah.
How about Trey Hendrickson leading the league now in sacks?
Man, I don't know what y'all white boys doing now. Y'all out here kicking ass, but you got TJ Watt over here. I'm like, all these white defensive ends fucking shit up. I'm like, what's going on? Y'all taking our position. I'm like, but I think he played well, but also this shouldn't be surprising to us, just like Baltimore.
Yeah.
They have done enough to hype Burrow up. He's a Super Bowl quarterback that went to the Super Bowl. This is the pace that you're supposed to be on this year. This is nothing surprising. This should be something that, like, what's going on, Burrow? Like, we can understand that we didn't sign Chase yet, and I know you're a little, but no, this is what we are expecting. This is what me and Amanda were expecting from the beginning of the year. The stuff we're seeing 41 from them or 41 from Baltimore. This is what we expect. This is nothing like, what are they doing right? What the fuck you mean? What are they doing right? They have like you're saying, they have exceptional players. Like there's nothing that you read the names on their list. You're like, there's no reason this team shouldn't be beating people 41 points. 41 points every week. The games they're lost are the ones we should worry about. These aren't the games we should worry about. These are the games that we expect from them. These are the games that they have to be more consistent doing. And I think Baltimore, I can see them beating Baltimore just because Baltimore played so well that sometimes when you play so well, not saying you take people for granted, but you're tired, you're wore out because, we put up 40 points, and I know they put up 40 points too, but they're younger. Not much younger, but they're younger. And, you got an older running back, Hendricks coming off a great 4-sack game, so he's going to be really hyped. But if Lamar gets started early, whoever flows early, I say the first quarter, I'll tell who can win. I'm kind of balanced on this team right now.
Amanda, I'm going to do a quick victory lap on Luke Getsy. I have talked about him for 2 years about how he was the worst offensive coordinator in Chicago. I made fun of the Raiders when they hired him, and now he's fired after week 9 with the Raiders. I mean, no quarterback. The quarterback situation sucks over there, but still.
How many seasons has he kept a job through the full season is what I want to know.
I think twice, because I think he finished the year last year. The Bears don't like to fire mid-season.
Okay. He should have been fired mid-season then.
He should have been. Yeah, he should have been fired mid-season in year 1, but you know what they say. I mean, Desmond Ridder sighting in this game for your Raiders.
Exciting. Love Desmond Ridder. He's so fun. No, I hate everything that's happening in Oakland right now.
Jack Jones is a nice pick 6.
Yeah, but the coach is talking shit about the players. The players don't seem like they care. Gardner Minshew is throwing temper tantrums on the sideline. They were begging for Desmond Ridder to start, so that's how you know the ship is sinking. Right. Like anyone asking for Desmond Ridder is in a dark, dark place.
It's bad because not only do you fire the OC, but you fire the O-line coach and the quarterbacks coach. And this is a quote. Antonio Pierce said he'll decide over the bye week who the offensive play caller and the starting quarterback will be. That's not a good position to be in.
They haven't known what direction they were headed all season. I mean, we're halfway through the season, guys. We should know these things by now.
Let's go to
Saints Panthers. Okay, the Saints Panthers.
Saints Panthers.
My garbage.
I want to talk about this one before Amanda has to go. I'm sorry. But, okay, the Saints, they have Carr back, they have Hill back. They begin the game looking like the Saints at the beginning of the year. The first 2 drives, they moved the ball well, but they only came up with 2 field goals. Then after that, the game was done. They won in every category. Like literally, if you look at the stats, they won in every possible category. Like I'm talking about time of possession, I'm talking about runs, I'm talking about passing. They won in every category and lost this game because they had 10 penalties for 109 yards. That's why they lost. That's the only thing that they won in that they should have lost in. And I think Young finally played like he finally said, fuck it. He finally said, fuck it, I'm going to lose my job anyway. I'm just going to go out here. He was throwing the ball where he shouldn't throw it, but the receivers were making great catches, and that's what a great quarterback does. I think also people take the backup quarterback position really lightly, but you got to understand you get a chance to see every defense because you're playing backup, so you got to be another quarterback, but you get to see every other area. You get to try other plays. You get to be comfortable. So I think he went out there like he was in practice. He was like, "Fuck this! I'm just gonna throw this ball." And the passes he was throwing, I didn't see him being comfortable in the pass doing it. But in this game, he was just. These receivers were making like great catches, and I'm like, that's what he needs to do. And I think the attitude was like, I'm gonna force this ball in, because I know I'll be back on the bench anyway. I'm just gonna get it out. Like,
Yeah.
y'all gonna have to bench me.
I think
Yeah,
he
it's nice
thinks
to
too much
see.
normally.
Yeah.
Like this fuck it attitude really works for him.
It
I
does.
mean, that fourth quarter, even under pressure, like he gave him a chance to make some plays. He stayed on his feet. That deep pass to Xavier Legette was beautiful.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, it was stripped, but it was still a beautiful, beautiful touch. Like the pass itself was perfect.
It was
Um,
his interception. It was a great interception.
yeah, but I mean, like the pass itself, like I have had questions about his accuracy and his arm strength and stuff because he hasn't seemed to like to figure it out yet. But there were some great throws in this one, and I think not having the pressure of being the starting quarterback, and like you said, like whatever, I'm gonna get benched anyway. Just like his fucking attitude really worked for him.
Yeah.
Um, like not having anything to lose, like cool, like just fucking sling it, and it worked out. And he's got some receivers with some great hands, so take advantage of that. Like eat the ball up, somebody will catch it, maybe.
And the Panthers win, gets Saints head coach Dennis Allen fired. Uh, he falls to 26-53, the record as a head coach. Saints Saints promote special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi as interim head coach.
The
I
what?
mean,
The special team? What?
yeah, special teams coordinator is the interim head
What?
coach.
Can you imagine if your coach's last name was Rizzy? Like, oh,
No, you imagine when you say special teams and head coach, you don't even sound right. I'm
like
looking
there
like,
was nobody
what?
else in between. We could bump up. No, no
Y'all couldn't
face in
call
anybody.
they couldn't call Drew Brees like they did for Saturday. Like, hey Drew, what's going on, man? Come on, just coach. We
Hey,
don't care. We're not worrying
just
about who you
interim. We
have.
just need to borrow
Yeah,
you real quick.
yeah. Hey, Jeff Saturday did it. Hell, let's try. Come on, like dude, the special teams, man, get the fuck out.
Fresh off the couch. Quick
Uh,
shout out to Carolina's defense though. They had some great games. That sack by Charles Harris seemed to really mess with Carr's confidence late in that fourth quarter. Richardson has had 12 tackles. So great game for that defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Big win, and but neither of these teams going anywhere. But it's nice to see Bryce Young, sit back there and rip it.
and smile.
Mara.
Smile. It's good to see him smile. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
like him happy.
yeah.
yeah,
I like to see anybody happy, but that was just
Yeah.
like he needed that. He
yeah,
needed that.
Yeah. Alvin
yeah.
Kamara, eighth consecutive season with over 1,000 yards. So good for him.
He went
What
for
total yards? Total
215
yards, right?
yards. Huh?
Total yards, right? Total yards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he ain't never had 1,000 yards of season, right? Rushing. I think
I
he
don't
ain't
think so.
he never had
Yeah,
1,000. I was like, that's amazing.
But he's never just been a running back though. Like
yeah. He's
they
got great hands. He's like part
yeah.
receiver.
He is a running back, though. Okay, never mind. We're
Well,
not going there.
yes, but they don't just use him as a running back, so it takes away from his yards on the
You're
ground when
100%
they throw him
right.
the ball.
You're 100% right. It just seemed weird. I was looking, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
they throw to
crazy.
him
That's
so
a
much.
I thought he was getting 1,000 yards like every year. I was
He
like,
is scrimmage yards, but
no
yeah.
not.
question.
Totally has 1,000 every year. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just
Amanda,
too
you
good
gotta
to just
go.
be a running back.
true.
Amanda, you got a heart out here, right?
Yeah, I got to go in 4 minutes. So, Commanders
Okay.
Giants. Anyone need to talk about that one?
Real
No.
quick, Amanda. You're the Bills over the Dolphins, but a hard fought game. They needed a 61-yarder to win it.
Oh, let me talk about this one. I was fucking stoked. So this man's longest field goal coming into this 61-yard kick was 58 yards, and he had missed an extra point earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Like you have to rely on a kicker who's already missed kicks. I was cursing. But that was fucking beautiful. I mean that kick was good for like 66 yards. Like that was a beautiful kick.
And
And the Bills have had issues with him. They've been working out other kickers. Like they've
yeah.
been trying to replace him and they couldn't. They're like, fuck it, let's just give him a shot. And it paid off. I mean, that's his first big like clutch kick that he's actually successfully made in a game. So
He needs that. That's good for his confidence
yeah,
because
absolutely.
he missed that kick against the Chiefs in the playoffs, and if he can have his confidence going into the playoffs, maybe he gets revenge on that. But
Yeah, and missing it, I mean, Tua would have come in and Tua would have attempted to, come
yeah,
back and pull it off. But McDermott said he was confident, he looked good, and we were gonna give it a shot. And I mean, good for him for trusting the kicker.
No question.
Big win for the Bills and equally big loss for the Dolphins. They're 2-6. They got to go at the Rams. That's not going to be an easy game. Miami hanging by a thread, even with Tua back, John.
Yeah, Tua's getting better. I think it's just knocking off that rust.
Yeah.
I think everybody just waiting for him to take a real hit to see if he's okay. But I think
Yeah.
it's still good that they have confidence in him. I think the team is playing better. How they played Buffalo is how they probably would play the whole year. The Tua would
Good.
never got hurt. I think this would have been an even better game for them.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Dak is on IR just before we go there.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are going to be worse. I want to let Amanda know that Dallas is going to be worse. But Rush actually played good in the Falcons game. When he came in, Rush actually played well.
Yeah.
But it was not even a close game, though. It was not even a close game.
Yeah, so get rid of that Dak jersey, Amanda.
Ooh. I don't think I have ever in my life rooted for the Cowgirls. You are sorely, sorely mistaken.
Let's see. Let's go to Falcons with a big win over the Cowboys, 27-21. They improved to 6-3. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta knocking Dak out of the game. CD got hurt as well. What Atlanta are they being dirty over there, knocking players out?
No, not at all. You ever see a team that came to see that they didn't really want to play? And it's crazy because watching the game, it just seemed like they had no energy. And you understand, Cowboy fans go everywhere. So I'm in the stands and I'm looking and I'm kind of like, even the score doesn't show how bad they beat them. Like,
Yeah. Well,
the Falcons came off first, got 2 sacks, and they only got 6 sacks for the year before this. They had 3 sacks this game, and they were just everywhere. Like the defense was playing well. Cousins could have did whatever he wanted that game. And I think the big thing is, when we were talking about running backs and even talking about Kamara, they letting Bijan just be a running back. So they keep it simple. They're not trying to like get him to do all that because they have enough receivers. They have like 5 receivers out here that can catch. They got Pitts finally catching balls. They got Mooney from nowhere that came. They got McLeod and they got Drake London who got hurt, but he'll be back. It's just like they're letting Bijan be a running back. And I said that like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. Like the first game, they kept trying to motion him here and do this and do this. I said, man, look, I know he's a smart guy and I know he can do that. But let's just run the ball. You have linemen that y'all pay. You got $100 million guard up there. I'm like, dude, run the ball and just let him find a hole, and that's what he's been good at right now. And then they have the second back with Algiers that can come in and do their thing. But I did not know that one D lineman, one defensive player can make a team just be good because always thought Parsons was a good player, but seeing how their team is now without him, how he saved them from getting sacks, how he saved them from getting caused fumbles and putting them and giving them the ball back so they had opportunities because all those opportunities are gone. A lot of their players on their defense, like Diggs, a lot of the guys are not showing up. A lot of the guys are not playing like they're all pro. They're not playing like they're Pro Bowl. They're not playing up to their contract. Even like going through the whole D line without him is just the team looks a shambles. Even on offense, they have CD played a good game because he was hurt, but he fought through it, and he came back, got a 2-point conversion, whatever. But it's just like if you was at the game, you could tell the Cowboys rode the bus with the Falcons. And when I say that, it's like when a team is playing so bad, it's like they came with the other team. Like you have one bad player and the dude like make an interception and do something, or he do some stuff. They be like, "Oh, he rode the bus with the other team." Like they literally came. I don't know if they went to Magic City or whatever the night before or something, but it was just like they were flat the whole game. Rush actually came in and played way better.
Yeah. Yep. Amanda, you gotta go.
Yeah, I just wanted to toss it on this game real quick before I have to dip out.
Right.
And also Thursday night picks. I know we normally
We'll
pick
get that in real quick. So
Ravens.
Ravens, all right.
My Thursday night pick. But this game, I mean, when their best wide receiver Drake London goes out, they're losing one of their indispensable defensive tackles in Grady Jarrett, and they still manhandle the Cowboys as well as they did. I mean, I absolutely agree with what you said about letting Bijan be a running back. 13 of their first 18 plays were running plays handed off to him. Like, I mean, let him go. Like they handled this offensive play calling so well in this game. And not that the Cowboys defense is anything to, be concerned about, but just the way they set it up and the way they spread the ball around. I mean, Mooney, 88 yards in this game. Bijan finished with 145 yards from scrimmage. Like, they just handled this offensive play call and game plan so well for each of their different offensive players, like specialties. Like, they broke it down so well for them. And I love that you mentioned letting Bijan be a running back, because they just kind of let everyone do their one job. They kept it simple, and it fucking worked for them. I think the Falcons
Yeah.
have a little bit they can clean up on defense, though.
Yeah.
Not to say too much good. I gotta keep it a little objective here.
Okay.
Bad against the run again. I mean, 137 yards on the ground. Like, come on.
Yeah. That
And
comes
this
with the
is
linebacker play I talked about before, and I don't like because he's the only pass rusher they really have now. Caden Ellis, he had a sack in the game, and
But Dallas has the worst
13.
rushing
Yeah,
offense.
that's
You let
what
him
I'm
put up
saying.
137 yards. Like,
Like we lost a couple guys, but I was saying the only reason why Caden Ellis got so many tackles is because they tackled him 5 or 6 yards down the field. Is no stops at 1 yard, stops at 3 yards, and I said that's one of the big things I always talked about. Like maybe 4 weeks ago, I was like, man, like the linebackers are slow, and they're not slow guys, but they're playing on their heels instead of on their toes. Like they don't scrape well. They don't do a lot of things well. Now, Caden Ellis can blitz, though. I will give him credit for that. He's a great defensive line.
another game with 4 turnover on downs for Dallas. I love me some turnover on downs.
Yeah.
4 of them, Dallas and Denver. Just
Mike
beautiful.
McCarthy knows his time is coming.
Yeah. Well, I gotta pop out. You guys can finish talking about the beautiful game that was the Chargers at Browns. I'll let y'all take that one.
All right.
All right.
We'll catch you next week. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, John, I mean, Dak going on IR with that hamstring injury. It's looking like it's going to be Cooper Rush. Would you consider, I know selfishly what I want to see Trey Lance get an opportunity out there. How do you see that going for Dallas?
Well, he was their third option. Let's see what Cooper Rush does. I think Cooper Rush came in and he looked good to me. He looked comfortable. He looked like he wanted the job. I know a lot of people, because of his past and he has a lot of starts or whatever, and he's not a first round pick, et cetera, et cetera. And people want to see Trey just because, he was a first round pick. Everybody want to see that quarterback become that quarterback. And also, a lot of people that hate Dallas want to see Dak ain't worth the money. You could have had him playing. You could have had Lance for cheap. So it's always that controversy that people, especially Chicago Bears fans, they want to hear that controversy. For you, it's like, hell yeah, you should have put Lance in. Lance go out there and win 4 games. They were like, bench Dak. Get man like 200 million. But I think we'll see who the Cowboys got next week.
Cowboys host the Eagles in Dallas. It's a tough game.
We will see if Rush is up to par. I think Dallas is more mentality now than it is men, and I don't think it's what they have on the field. I think that's what they have in their mind. Like, are they already signed off for the season?
Yeah.
Like you see Diggs going after the reporter. You're seeing a lot of stuff that's off the field. You see the owner just ain't saying and saying. It's like you can see if you watch the body language of the Cowboys when I was at the game, you can see the body language. Like even when Dak came off the field, it's like you didn't really see a lot of people coming around and say, "You good? You good? You good?" It kind of went in the blue because we didn't even know Dak was out at first, and then somebody was like, "Hey, Dak's been in that tent for a while," and I'm like. Usually it'll be big. A quarterback get hurt. Everybody be like, "Oh, the quarterback's out. The quarterback out." And we was like, "Oh, snap! We ain't even knew." We looked up. We're like, "Okay, Dak in the tent." Oh,
yeah.
We had other people hurt for the Falcons, but it's like it's just the mentality of the team now is kind of like just like this instead of like I don't see any nervousness. They don't seem like they're worried. And like I said, the important people already got paid.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like.
Yeah, it's interesting because you got Jerry Jones every offseason, including this last one, saying we're all in. And when you're doing your season previews and you're looking at the roster, you're like, the running back room, you got an old Zeke Elliott and you got Rico Dowdle. Like, upgrade, right? You got Saquon Barkley out here. You got Josh Jacobs. You got Joe Mixon. All these names, and you don't spend any money on them, you know?
Otto is actually not bad though. That's what
Dowdle's not
Otto is
bad.
he actually better. He probably their best back right now. It's just he probably ain't getting as much burn, but Dotto is actually not bad. Like if they
Yeah.
put him in, if they put him in a Saquon Barkley type offense, or if they put him in a Bijan or even a Kamara type role, I think he'll be a real good fit. But it's just like they're the Cowboys. That's not their MO. You know what I mean?
And they're so reliant on Dak that him going out, it just seems like a death sentence, really. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
the money you put in Dak, you have to rely on him. Now you're gonna have to see the running game. Is it really gonna be? Is Zeke gonna be able to give you 100 yards, or is Donald gonna be able to get 100 yards, or
Yeah.
is Lamb gonna give up now? Because I don't have Dak now, so if I don't do my routes anymore, if I don't block down the field, like who cares? Like I don't even know if the Cowboys receiver are good blockers down the field. Just watching, I just saw a lot of big holes in the Atlanta defense at the time. That's why they got so many rushing yards, but I didn't see a lot. Dak had one. They had 80 yards rushing in the second. In the second quarter, they had like 80 yards of rushing.
Mm-hmm.
So the second half they only had like 50 because they're kind of behind. They kind of had to throw the ball, but like I said, for me, it's more like the mentality. There weren't the Cowboys. Like, if you ever been to Cowboys game or ever been around Cowboys, the fans, the team, even though you think you can beat them, you don't know because they always have that swag. I don't see that swag in the team anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we're used to them having swag and being a relevant, very competitive team, but not this year. Great win for the Falcons. They're 6-3. They're at the Saints. That should be a win, a game they can win. So keep building and
New Orleans though, like you could never put being in New Orleans.
yeah.
And the Falcons. Now it should be an easy walk-off win. It should be nobody get hurt. Everybody should be fair, but it's the Saints. And like I
Yeah.
said last week, the Saints actually the first two drives looked like the old Saints. They were moving the ball well. Kamara was getting touches, and then they just start. I don't know what car started doing. The wheel went flat or something. It just went bad, So hopefully it's not a trap game for the Falcons. Hopefully the Falcons come play, and I think hopefully your boy can put up about 3-4 touchdowns. He should have a good game. Kirk Cousins should have a good game. Bijan should have a good game. I'm not sure if Drake's going to play or not. I'm sure he probably will, but it is what it is.
My game, the game that I really enjoyed, Chargers Browns. This game looked like, the way Cleveland played last week, you thought this was going to be hard fought. Maybe even Cleveland could steal a win, but the Chargers, in my opinion, I'm really high on the Chargers. They're starting to play better and better football. Justin Herbert starting to play better. They got Quentin Johnston going in this game, J.K. Dobbins. Big win for the Chargers to get to 5-3 and go into Cleveland and get a big win.
Especially with Myles Garrett going off 3 sacks in the first half, and still they end up winning this game pretty easily. So so like that is an intense player right there, man. You got to understand, like you get 3 sacks, and because I don't think people understand how that still is so painful. You can have a great game and lose; it's just the worst. Like it's good to see Myles Garrett, still being Myles Garrett. That's one thing I got from the game. That's the one positive I can say about Cleveland. But who are their main parts now? You got a receiver that was a great receiver. Now he's balling out with the Bills. It's just like I don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Gotta be tough being like the best player on the team, getting 3 sacks, and then your team's not even really competitive. It's
not at all. Jameis was Jameis again. It was nothing. So everything went back. Everything like you are what you are, bro. You had that one game, and you just we beat Baltimore. Oh man, sit your ass down. Sit your ass down, man. They should have lost that game last week. Think about it. They should have lost last week. If Hamilton catches that interception, that would have been another loss.
Yeah. That's why we love football, though. It's a game of inches, and it's crazy. Commanders beat the Giants 27-22. The Commanders trade for Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore. They're 7-2 and leading the NFC East. Can the Commanders keep this going and actually win the division and host a playoff game, you think?
Definitely. Who can really stop them? I mean, Dallas, Philly.
Philly?
Like literally, I think they're the most balanced team right now. And bringing Lattimore in, I think that's going to strengthen their secondary. Uh,
Yeah.
like they got one for free, but all the other games that they won, they really outplayed people. It's not like it's not like they're like barely winning games. They're winning. They're a
Yeah.
good team. They're actually a good team. There's nothing you can't take anything away from them. Like you can say their D line, no, their D line is good too. You can say they're good too. You say they're running back, no, they're good too. You can say they're receiver, no, they're pretty good too. Where the quarterback's young, no, well, he's not playing like a young quarterback, and
Yeah.
I think he's taking the team on his back. I think the pressure that people think a rookie should have, I think from maybe Marcus Stroud or it just got him more prepared. So it's definitely good. They look good to me.
Yeah. Shout out Dan Quinn too. His head coach getting it done.
Dan Quinn, like he
Giants.
about to have a heart attack out there, don't he? He running around like, oh, hey, Dan Quinn over there like, hell yeah, y'all kissed my whole ass. Y'all thought I was trash. Told you I wasn't trash.
Giants fall to 2-7. How about Germany get in the game of the week? The 2-7 Giants and the 2-7 Panthers. Are you gonna get up early Sunday morning and watch that one?
Hopefully not, but if I am, I will try to watch it. I don't even see what's the point of that. It's like they have at the end of the season they have that TBD. Like when they talk about teams going to Germany, they should have to be determined because nobody you wasting. I mean, sure people from Germany going to watch, but none of us. We're like, man, unless you're a Jacksonville fan or nobody ain't going to watch that damn game.
Let's go. Patriots Titans. I mean, Titans find a way to get the win in overtime, 20-17. Drake May with 3 turnovers. I don't really know what to say about this game. 2 bad teams,
Well, 2 young teams, we can say that. It's 2 young teams,
Yeah,
2 young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the coaches you can tell they're still young coaches too. And I'm not saying young in age. I'm saying that, they're 2 coaches that are
lacking experience. Yeah.
Teams. And I think, when you're a new coach, not like some coaches, but when you're a new coach, you want your own players in there. You want to get your first draft out of the way. You want to get a lot of stuff. You want to start building the team that you want. Like even old boy calling the Patriots soft, like, dude, you're the coach. You're the head coach. You can't say stuff like that. Like regardless, it's different if you get mid season and somebody leaves, but you had the team for the whole time, bro. Like you can't say that. You know what I mean? Like even Belichick checked them quick. Hey, that's the same last year. You ain't gonna talk shit like that. They weren't soft. This is the same damn team. You try to tell me my team was soft.
It's funny to see a fired up Belichick.
Yeah.
So not much to talk about there. I mean, we've pretty much covered them. I mean, a great week of football. Anything else jump out to you? I mean,
I think I really want to see what that IR is going to do for the Cowboys. I'm really interested in the Baltimore Cincinnati game. I think that's going to be a big factor on who's going to control. I want to see the Jets because I think that Aaron is finally Aaron now. I think having Adams playing in a couple games now, he looks more fluent. He looks more confident now. Mike Williams getting to go to someplace else, so they don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about a receiver maybe. You have to worry about a receiver maybe being, not saying he's jinking them, but you go do your thing. Our locker room is a lot easier now. Tension from you is gone.
Yeah.
So something to look out for, and hopefully he has a better place. They say he can start over now and hopefully have a fresh start. That's good. But and the Eagles, I want to see the Eagles too. I'm very interested in the Eagles also.
I'm really looking forward to that Jets Cardinals game. I was so happy to see the Jets get that win on Thursday night. They needed it so badly, and hopefully they could snowball this and get it rolling a little bit. I agree. Aaron Rodgers is starting to play better, and I want to see Alan Lazard's on IR, and they trade away Mike Williams. Does this open the door to get Malachi Corley going a little bit and hold on to the football? If he can just hold on to the football when he crosses the goal line. He's a really talented young player.
Yeah, that was just a rookie mistake, but also it seemed like you got to watch stuff like Kyle Pitts do it the week before.
Yeah,
and I don't even see the point of dropping the ball. Like, people do it so much, and like whenever I played receiver or whenever I played running back when I was in high school, when I was a kid, I always used to make sure I crossed the line. Like, and I don't understand what's so important about throwing the ball down. And you don't throw it in the end zone. Like, I just don't understand how you can get that close and just throw it. Like, it's not like people are knocking it out like, with Pitts.
You just
like,
Pitts
got it knocked out. That made more sense. But I'm saying, but that is just like right before, like it seemed like you should stick it crossed and come back and do it, and it'll look fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, stick it crossed and throw it back. That'll look fresh. But like right before the line, I guess he used to run track or something. His chest got across the line first or something. Like people doing the dip like this. So I'm looking like that ain't even sensible, bro.
Yeah, I'm so sick of the Chiefs. Somebody please beat the Chiefs. Please. So tired of the Chiefs. I'm liking the Chargers. I'm riding with them. I think they can get into the playoffs, maybe steal a playoff win. Lions, Texans. Come on, Texans, show up. Don't play around.
I think they might slip down a little bit. I think they need Diggs, man, especially to match that intensity that the Lions bring.
They still got some time. What about a trade? Trade for a receiver.
Who are you gonna trade for?
I don't know. A lot of them
you think they can call Julio Jones? Julio might no.
Somebody maybe.
Julio back, man. See if we can
Adam Thielen, maybe something. I don't know.
The best receiver trade already happened. That was yeah. The Kansas City got the best receiver. That was Kansas City got the best receiver that's probably out right now.
Yeah. Bucks 49ers should be good. I'm looking forward to Christian McCaffrey getting back. The Niners need a boost. Hopefully he can provide that for them. How are you feeling about Ravens Bengals? Amanda picked the Ravens. I think we're all going to go with the Ravens, but it's kind of scary just because division rivalry.
Yeah, but I think the Ravens, like I said, that game for me is going to be the first quarter. Whoever looks more comfortable, because I think Burrows, if they get in his face early, he tends to not be as amazing. Sense, you know what I mean? Since he got paid, I don't see him breaking as many tackles and making that an amazing throw. So now it's kind of like, because he even said it. Did you see on the podcast? He said, sacks don't really mean sacks are overrated. It's quarter when you get a sack. Because you get a sack on third down, like whatever. I'm like, dude, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Like,
who said that?
You ain't heard it? You got to watch that. Burrow was talking about.
Burrow said that?
He said sacks are overrated, and he was like,
I heard someone else say that too, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Burrow, he's like, so if this is like a third down and you get a sack, like, whatever. It's like, I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, sacks are like the shit. I'm like, what are you talking about, man?
No, some coach, I believe, said pressures are more important than sacks. And I was like, what? I've never heard of that in my life.
I understand what they mean by it, because a lot of times pressures, you can have more pressure than you can have sacks. That's what they're saying. Like, you can have, if we got 30 pressures, that's more than 2 sacks, because you might
consistent
sack
pressure.
Twice. Yes. When they saying it like that, but trust me, ain't no coach would rather have a pressure than a sack.
Yeah, exactly.
We had 15 pressures though, but we only had 1 sack. So that's to kind of make you feel like my D-line is working hard. So it's
Yeah.
more like they're like with the Falcons, they don't have that many sacks, but they might say, oh, well, they had 50 pressures, so they were getting there. They were just wanting getting them down. So that's
We're
why they say,
close. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's like saying a receiver was open, but he just no. It's about the targets. It's not about the catches. He had 15 targets, but he only had 8 catches. But look how many times he's open. Nah, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it, bro. That ain't it.
Thanks. Yeah. So we're gonna ride with the Ravens. Hopefully they show up. In the games where the Ravens don't, play their best, they seem to get away from feeding Derrick Henry. They need to establish Derrick Henry, get him his touches, and then usually he breaks free in the second half, and that opens everything up for Lamar. So,
Yep.
looking forward to this game on Thursday night. John, thanks again. Thanks for taking the time to come on. And week 10 already. The season's flying by.
Fine, by man. We doing good. We getting better every week.
Hell yeah.
Thank Amanda, and let's keep this shit rolling.
Hell yeah. Awesome stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Amanda says she'll wear her Dak Prescott jersey next week. No, I'm just playing. All right. See you guys. Thanks, John. Good stuff as always.